Get on my little soapbox for a second.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox.
Your guide to getting found, selected, and remembered.
And now, here's Mark.
Hey, Soapboxers, welcome back. And I have got an awesome show. I have invited two kings of the review world. They have rocked it in different parts of the country, and that's why I brought in both of them. They do it slightly differently, and we're really excited to introduce Judy, Hyde, and backed by popular man Josh Brooker from TE Certified. And welcome, guys. We appreciate you coming in. This is awesome. Again, two rock stars in the review community. Like you guys are up there on the Mount Rushmore of review acquisition here. So I figured I'd have you guys come in and kind of learn how y'all got to this point. Judy, you're out of the Coachella Valley in California. Josh down in Atlanta, and you have slightly different approaches. If you guys could each, and I'm going to go with Judy because ladies first, Josh. Judy, what's your philosophy on reviews? And just kind of give us the lay of the land and how Hyde's thinks about reviews.
Our philosophy is that reviews, I will tell you, are very important to us. They are extremely important. And yes, we want to know how we're doing. We love it that like with leads nearby now, we have, I think last time I checked, like 31,800 4.9 reviews. We have 4,200 and some 4.9 Google reviews. But those reviews, looking at that, some people are like, if, what happens when we get a 1-star? What happens when you get a 5-star? Mm-hmm. Well, we look at all of those. And sometimes I'm even finding out that a 5-star, when you look at the detail, what somebody writes in there, that they could give you 5 stars, but did we really do a 5-star service? Not always. I've even taken, we look at words, and there's trending words to the point that we even did a marketing campaign. And so one of our marketing campaigns were off the 3 words that our text kept getting. And that was professional, that was knowledgeable, and experienced. And that was the campaign that we ran on. And so it's something that the brothers, Mark, my husband Mark, and my 2 brother-in-laws, we look at every single review. Part of my job is to do that. I look on them on weekends. I'm not crazy and a nut about it, but I do like to see where we're at. It talks, we use it for our culture. We use it for quality control. Sometimes it's the customer, sometimes it's us, but it's something that is so high on our list. And then, like I said, we've taken it, and I've even of late taken it to another level, that we have so many detailed, people that write paragraphs. Wow. I wouldn't do that. Me personally, but they will take the time to write a paragraph in detail that they get it. They get our culture. They get, like I said, keywords. One of the keywords that are coming are courteous. They say that our techs and our employees are courteous. They're personable. And some of the things, and they're efficient, but some of the things that they say, I'm like, what are the other people like, the other vendors or the other technicians that are coming that are not from our company, that courteous? It's not really such the popular word, but it trends so much in our reviews. So that's something else that we look at too.
That is truly amazing what you can learn when you study the feedback that these clients are giving you. And by the way, Judy, just a little correction, it's 32,998.
Oh, okay. There you go.
A lot. Josh, how again, same question, just kind of, give us the lay of the land on your philosophy on reviews, et cetera.
Yeah, I love that Judy says she reads all the reviews. I think that's super cool, and actually changes her business based on their reviews. I think that's super cool too. I think a lot of people kind of forget that part. Like they think they're just going for the number of reviews and then the star rating next to it. It's not like they're not actually using it as customer feedback. It's just like super important. So we love reviews. Reviews are super important in our business. I don't know that we would have a business without reviews. So we work really hard to get good reviews. We definitely use them, like Hyde, to make sure that we are actually providing good customer service to our customers. We use it as an incentive for really good technicians to encourage them to do good work and to reward them and to celebrate them. And then we kind of use it as a little bit of a stick for bad technicians, right? Because it's kind of scary as a technician knowing that your customer is going to get a review, a public review offer every time you go to their house, So if you're a technician that doesn't love giving good service all the time, which of course none of our technicians be like that, but everybody has a bad day. You kind of have this little reminder, hey, at the end of the call, no matter what I do, this customer's gonna have an opportunity to review me, which I think is really important. I think it's good for our customers too to feel like they have a voice.
Yep.
I think customers look at lots of reviews as a good indicator that it's a good company. It's kind of a typical way to use reviews. Like, hey, look, lots of people like them. It's third-party verification that they're probably a good company. But then also there's some feeling of hey, these people care about their reputation, so they'll care about how I feel.
Right.
It's just kind of a little different thing. But anyway, yeah, we love reviews. And anywhere we can get reviews, we love reviews, and then anywhere we can get them.
We are going to talk more about that here in a moment, about all the reviews, where you can get them. And we've got some, I don't say new ones, but people are, we'll talk about that. That is a really important aspect to this. Judy, and this is a really tough question to ask. And I don't want you to give away some secret sauce, but I want to educate the people that are watching right now. What are some of the most successful strategies that you've had in generating, let's be honest, getting the technicians and getting the team on board isn't always the easiest thing when it comes to reviews. What are some of the strategies you've used internally to encourage review requests, along with encouraging high review counts the way you have? So what are some of those strategies you've used?
Well, they already know that they're important to us. And we have it set up that those reviews, it's not like you're asking for one. They're going to go out automatically. They know that's how we've done that. And, it's important that sometimes too, when I'll have, and I know that Josh mentioned that if you have an employee, sometimes I will first of all say that I will have my employees back to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I will look into why did we get a 1-star?
Sure.
I mean, I'll even look into that 3-star review when I'm looking. And it's funny that the employee will even come into my office and even say, hey, you know what, this happened, that happened. But they know that reviews drive our business. And they know the better the review, the better and the more successful that they're going to be and that we're going to be. So it's something that it's very important to us. And how do we get them to really, and I think that we do a good job. And I don't know if I have quote, just a strategy, as it's something that they know to ownership, that this is a high level thing and how important it is. And I appreciate the ones, if they do get not the best review, that they will come in and talk with me, about it. And sometimes I even have a supervisor call the customer because we want, it's quality control.
Absolutely. Josh, I know that you take that even and maybe Judy, you are doing this. You didn't mention it specifically, but I know, Josh, you do a lot of role playing there, right? With reviews and how to ask for them, while you're in front of the customer, how do you ask, or how do you say that? One thing that you and I talked about most recently was, right, people don't reward companies as much as they'll reward people. And reviews indicate that. Judy's mentioned it a couple of times, professional and courteous. They're talking about the technicians, not necessarily Hyde's the company. So, Josh, is there any advice you have for somebody listening to this right now on review acquisition, and I'm going to training, like team involvement?
Yes, review acquisition. Absolutely. Yeah. So you got to be good at your job. So the number one thing is you got to be good at your job.
Okay.
So if you're not good at your job, you don't. I always tell people don't start your review process if you're not good at your job, because if you're going to get more reviews, you want to make sure they're good reviews, right? So you don't want to accelerate 3-star reviews, right? So you got to be good at your job. Like, it's like a baseline expectation, but I think some people kind of forget that. They're like, hey, I want to go out and get a bunch of reviews, and then they start getting bad reviews, and they're like, well, you also have to have good service. So you have to have good service. You have to ask for one every time. Judy says, hey, we automate it. Awesome. You got to do that. It can't be an optional thing. It can't be something that creates a lot of work for the technician or for the customer. It has to be automated. It has to be smooth. It has to be slick. It has to happen every time. If you create any sort of barrier to entry or any sort of friction for the employee, they'll either decide oftentimes not to do it with your most critical customer, which is the customer that might have had the feedback that you needed, or they'll forget. So you gotta automate it. Then you gotta ask for it every single time. We used to teach that, hey, look, if you just go to a customer's house and you do a great job, maybe 1 out of every 200 will leave you a good review. If you go to a customer's house and you do a great job and you ask for a review, maybe 1 out of every 100 will leave you a good review, which is actually like a pretty significant increase, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still 1 out of 100. And then if you ask for them to leave a review and then you send them a link, right? You might drop that down to 1 out of 50, right? And then if you follow up with a text message, you might drop that down to 1 out of 25.
Sure.
And then if you follow up with a text message and an email, say, hey, did you get my review, so on and so forth, you might bring that to 1 out of 10, right? Because let's face it, leaving reviews is a pain in the butt. And people ask us all the time. You can't call Amex, Bank of America, you can't go on Amazon, you can't go to Home Depot or Costco without someone saying, hey, can you leave me a review, right? And there's always a little reward, right? A little, $5 or a chance to enter a raffle. And most of the time we say what? Absolutely, of course. And then we do what? Absolutely nothing. Right? That's what I tell the girl at Home Depot every time she hands me the receipt, right? I say, absolutely, of course, right? I never go and enter the number on the receipt and leave a review, right? Which might make me a terrible person. So the other thing we need to remind the customer is that they're helping the person, not the company. I think it's really, really important. They don't really care so much to help the company as much as they care to help the technician. And we actually teach our technicians to say, hey, the company gives us a little tip, which all of a sudden brings into the customer's mind at the end of the call that, oh, I should probably do something nice for this person that's been working hard on my house. Well, this is easy. I'll just leave a review. And then we just take their phone and we stand over their shoulder and we carefully help them. No,
no, that's you spell my name this way. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing about it is it's just a numbers game. You have lots and lots of customers who you're going to provide great service to. You're going to ask for a review. They're going to promise that they're going to give you a review. You're going to send them the link, and they're just not going to do it. And that's a percentage of your customers. So you just have to run a lot of calls and send a lot of review links and then follow up with a lot of customers.
So, which kind of it's a very nice leading observation, Josh. I've had a number of clients over the years, and I don't know if you two have partaken in this particularly, but they literally hired a happy call person to sit there and monitor in this case, Nearby Now reviews as they came in, both Google or on Nearby Now itself, and looked at all the requests. And we're doing follow-up calls to those people that did not leave a review, looking for any kind of potential issue. Somebody left behind a mess and they didn't think so at the time. I've heard horror stories of one guy, Josh, it might have been one of your guys, stepped on an antique stool by just not thinking right at the moment in time, and the person didn't realize until they saw the footprint on the stool, and therefore they didn't want to leave a negative review, but they certainly didn't want to leave the positive review at that moment in time.
Oh, 100%. Unwilling to leave a positive review often is the same as a negative review.
Yeah.
So are you guys instituting any, are you guys following through? I know we send a couple of reminders here and there, right? Is there any follow-up to, hi, Mr. Client, Mark, why didn't you leave that review? I know you opened the email. Was there something wrong? Do you guys do any kind of follow-up to that?
Yeah, we
I don't know.
every customer. So we're calling every single customer.
After the fact?
Question. Yeah.
Very good. Judy, you said no?
No, I mean, we don't. It's usually if something, so we go with it two ways. What I'll do if a customer that does like in such detail, I've started doing that. I pick like 4 or 5 a week, and I will send them a handwritten card. And it's just thanking them for the encouragement. I say, you December, 2nd, thanks for sending this out, and really how much that it means to us and to that either it's helping us to improve or just that encouragement that they're we're doing, a really good job. But it's so we'll do that part of it, and I do a calligraphy. We make it special for them so that that one, they're going to open it, but also that just thanking them for doing that. And it's like Josh said, I'm also not going to be the one that leaves the the long review. I'm not going to be the one to do that. So I do appreciate when when people do that. But when it's that not so good review and looking at it and looking at the detail of it, we will have one, my niece, Janelle, she'll answer those difficult ones. We'll still, answer them. Or sometimes a supervisor will even call and check with them. Hey, how can we do better? What really, happened? So we don't do happy calls, but we monitor those reviews and step in, either way.
I love that. And just as an indicator for those listening, how many, if you got, and I know that this would take a while for each of you to get, but let's say you got 10 not so nice reviews and you ended up calling them, hey, what happened, right? And you do that follow-up. I get a question all the time, like, Mark, why didn't they change the review? It's fairly easy to change a review in Google. How often do you find that people would go in and re-review you, so to speak, after something like that? How many of those negatives turned into a positive?
If we had 10, I think that you could probably get maybe 4 of those to do that. Some people will just not do it.
Sure.
And I think Josh had mentioned this before, maybe you had mentioned that, Mark, that a lot of times if you look at the review, they'll talk about, hey, we're family owned, they like that, but it is about the technician.
Yep.
And the technician, he actually, the company, they may mention the office, the CSR, but it's really, and my son being a maintenance technician, you're the one that shows up. I mean, it's you.
True.
And how well a job, do you want to do? And one of our other trending things is that they go and they put on shoe covers. They cleaned up after themselves. These are some of the things that people are looking for. And I'm going, what are the other companies doing? Are they not wearing shoe covers?
It's
Are
such a
they
little
not,
thing.
are they not cleaning up after themselves? And if we don't, like sometimes too, we can have a handprint on an attic access, and we're going to hear about it. But people literally, we've had a few that will apologize, on there, like, you know what, they made good on this.
Mhm.
So
Josh, how many do you save?
I'd say it's about 50-50. A lot of people will delete their reviews. A lot of people will go and update them, which I think is fair too. But it is not uncommon for people to change a review after we fix something. But it's common for people to leave a bad review. Bad reviews generally come when people feel like there has been some injustice. They've been hurt.
Yeah.
So whenever you read a bad review, it really has nothing to do with the customer's experience or anything other than the customer feels like they've been injured in some way, and now they want to retaliate. This whole idea like they're being altruistic and like they're leaving a bad review to help future people avoid the situation is never true. It's always, I got my feelings hurt, I'm mad, and I want to hurt the company. So generally you're dealing with someone who like you offended in some way. And so the easiest way is to figure out, hey, like, how do we offend this person? How can we fix it? The great irony with bad reviews is we can go to a customer's house and we can do a terrible job, like something awful, like step through their ceiling or scratch their floor, or we install the air conditioner, it doesn't work the next day. And those customers are always super gracious and kind. The customers who, you gave them a price and they thought it was too high, or they were unreasonable about the time expectations, or they were unreasonable about the price, those people tend to leave really difficult reviews because it's just so hard to respond in love and grace. That's where we struggle, and I struggle with that as well. So I try to do a really good job before I call a customer to remember, like, customers pay all our bills. Customers are the lifeblood of our company. If it wasn't for our customers, we wouldn't be here. These people are members of our community. We love them, we respect them, and then I call them. Because sometimes it's very easy to be like, hey, we work so hard, we try so hard, and we're killing ourselves out here. The guys are killing themselves out there, and the technicians are in hot attics and crawl spaces. We're doing everything we possibly can, and now you're giving me a 1-star review because I don't work in commercial condos. Like, you're killing me, So it's hard to call and have that that level of kindness and graciousness and generosity. But we try really hard.
It's one of those things. I didn't deserve that. Like, I don't know why you're using that against me. Maybe you were just upset in the moment, but that shouldn't be a 1-star. I've seen that before, and there are ways. We've helped clients try to mitigate those and get rid of those, but yeah, those are tough ones to get beyond. I did want to.
1-star reviews are fine. It's just how you respond to them. I actually love 1-star reviews because people read 1-star reviews. They're not going to read the 4,000 5-star reviews. They're going to read the 21-star reviews.
They look at a few of them. I have found I've written a couple of reviews in my lifetime, and something did me wrong, right? I was the guy that was reading the 2- and 3-star reviews because I felt like those were the honest negative feedback, right? A 1-star is aggressive. Like, you still did something. You were there for me. So I read a lot of the 2- and 3-star reviews, and I've written a few of those over my time, just so that I can make sure that, hey, it was good, but this. And letting other people know, or letting the company know, this is something you guys got to fix.
You're in the minority. The 3-star review is not often used. The 2-star review is super rare.
I'm
I know, but we've gotten 3 stars, and sometimes you get the 4-star, which is really some people's 5-star.
Yep.
Because they never give a 5-star.
I love that excuse. Really?
Because they'll go excellent service, they'll go this whole thing, and then I go, really, 4 stars?
Yep. I never
They
get
only
5
get 5
stars.
stars.
Okay. I don't understand that philosophy either.
Just out of curiosity, if you're that person, that means every time you see someone who's 4 stars and above, you should be blown away.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
If you're the I only give a 4-star kind of person, then you should always be totally fine with a company that's 4 stars or better.
Exactly.
I
don't know. I don't understand those people, but sometimes too, when you're looking at, and I do believe it's not like you go out for the 1 star, but sometimes too, it's that customer expectation and their expectations. And when we do some research, because we will, and we'll go back, and it's like we found out that we've gone to your house, we've gone above and beyond. So we're never really going to meet your expectations, and we have to just kind of go, oh,
and that
that's the way.
You kind of led me right down the path. So well done, both of you. You started on this in California where you are. There are other review platforms that are a little bit more popular than here on the East Coast. Yelp being one of them.
Yeah.
And then over here on the East Coast, we've got BBB. We've got a couple other. As far as the future of where you see reviews going and where people are reviewing you, Josh, I'll go with you first. What do you think? Where's the future of reviews heading? Is it more diverse? Are people still using just Google? Are Facebook reviews popular? Maybe Yelp is big in Atlanta. Talk to me a little bit about where you believe the future of reviews are going.
So I think reviews are here to stay. I do think Google reviews are going to get watered down over the years because it's hard to tell the difference between 10,000 and 15,000 and 20,000 reviews. Those look very similar.
Sure.
Right. But Judy's saying, hey, we have 4,000 reviews, right? So 4,000 reviews be all her reviews. But what's really the difference between 10 and 15 versus 20, right? So once you've got these companies that have been around for a long time, I think there comes like it just sort of doesn't mean as much. And then, it's really hard for a company's reputation to change, right? Because they have so many reviews one way or the other. Sure. So I do think Google gets watered down. I think reviews become more personalized. I think we're paying more attention to influencers. We're paying more attention to neighbors. We're paying more attention to, maybe TikTok or Facebook or Instagram, like those kind of reviews. So I might not necessarily log on to Google and read a review about TE certified, but I'll definitely listen to a 5-second TikTok rant about a company and make a decision about that moving forward. So I think it's going to be a lot of reviews are going to be an actual person talking about the company, like a video or something like that, through someone who I feel like has some sort of credibility. And I think Google, Yelp, I think those kind of companies will have some sort of impact, but it'll kind of being 5-star rated or 4.9 star rated on Google will be like the new licensed and insured, right? Like everybody will have it.
Right.
Where maybe that meant something 20 years ago, but now nobody advertises that they're licensed and insured.
It's a baseline expectation.
Yeah. Being 4.9 rated on Google will just be a baseline expectation, and then there'll be something else.
I got you. Do you, Judy? Are you getting calls from these other sources, or I have found that people are starting their search on social media channels now, and asking for what essentially amounts to a review or feedback from somebody's experience. Hey, anybody use this plumber or this, or hey, anybody got somebody they recommend over here? And then they use Google as the baseline. Hey, is there a real company? Are you seeing that at all in your area? If so, how are you?
In our area too, and I agree that was spot on, Josh, with that when he was saying I think that it's going to get watered down, but we always know, I'm going to say our Yelp reviews. Someone's going to go. I'll have a few people do some nice Yelp reviews, but people are it's Yelp. They're going to go to that. and they're upset, so they're going to write that bad review. They probably have threatened us that they're going to write that bad review, and there you go. But a lot of times on, if you guys, because we have Nextdoor app, so
Yep.
Nextdoor, it's interesting for us, and my husband will see on there, like people will go, hey, we're looking for an AC company that won't rip me off, and they're, but they're cheap, and this and that. I kind of look, that's probably not the customer I want anyways, if it's
Yep.
comparing apples to apples. And a lot of times too, we'll have other people, and we either have friends or other customers, we're not going to chime in, but they will chime in there. But still our biggest, even we can say that, yes, you can look at social, you can do all that, but still our biggest two things: people see our trucks, and then they go, we heard firsthand from a neighbor, we heard from a friend, from a family member. That is still one of our top things. Then they'll say, hey, I looked at their reviews. So sometimes it's not even, the reviews are even the first thing.
Yeah, people want a personal review. Someone's going to figure that out. At some point in time, like when I go onto Google, I really don't care that there's 5,000 reviews. I'd be very curious if Mark had left a review, right? And so like, there's probably all sorts of restaurants and venues that one of your friends has left a review. That'd be a really cool thing if like Facebook or Google was able to realize like, hey, you have 15 out of the 15,000 people that left a review for this restaurant, 47 of them are friends with you on Facebook. And then you can click on those and read those, which is really important because a review is only as good as the person leaving their review, right? Which is where we run into frustration on Yelp, right? If someone leaves a 5-star review on Yelp for us, apparently what that means is that we're really cheap. And so, so other people, like we have lots of reviews on Yelp where people are like, I can't believe they're 5-star rated. They were so expensive. Whereas my like general expectation, if I were to go to a 5-star restaurant, would be that it'd be expensive.
Yep.
Right. This is why I don't use Yelp for restaurants. Never use Yelp for restaurants. If you use Yelp for restaurants, you'll find yourself at some weird hole in the wall, like nasty dive place, because like the Yelpers are like, they think the stars are related to money, not value. Right. So I need to go somewhere else, because if I'm trying to go to a nice restaurant, I need people who are trying to tell me whether or not it's actually nice. Like the nicest restaurants in Atlanta all have like 3.5 stars on like Google and Yelp. It's just the weirdest thing. It's like, because people equate price to value, right? Which I totally understand. But the long story short is, I'd be very curious which of my friends were giving a good review versus giving a bad review, because that would help me decide. That's
very interesting. It's also why I recommend to clients, and I know you guys do it, share your 5 stars on your Facebook, even boost them if you need to, because that's going to put that out in front of a bunch of people that, oh, I know him. Mark left a 5-star review for that. Yeah. Oh, like I trust what he says. I can't disagree with that at all. I think that's an awesome evolution in reviews might be what we might be facing. I still think that the 10,000 pound gorilla in the room is still your Google, right? It's still kind of a go-to, but there's so many up and coming places, and I think, like you said, Josh, it's getting a little noisy there. It's a common expectation. One final question, and this was an internal debate, and we had a really back and forth on it, and ultimately I was in my guess, or my answer to this was in the minority of what most people. What is a minimum star rating for you guys before you would go to a restaurant or any place? Do you have like that mental thought process that I'm buying something on Amazon, or I'm on eBay, or I'm on Google? Is there a minimum star rating, a floor? You're like, I got to question this.
Yeah, 4, right? But it's relative. The 4.
it is relative. You're absolutely right. I'm going to look at the number of reviews in addition to maybe even the competitors around it.
Yeah.
But 4 is your floor. Got it. Judy, do you have one?
4.
I would say four. I agree with 4, but I also, especially if it's like a product review or something on there, I look to see what the trend is. That is it something. So I'll read like 5 of their reviews and see where it's going on there.
Okay.
That's how I look at it, and then I'm going to decide.
Make some decisions from there.
Mhm.
If I'm faced with a search result and I'm looking through, my marker for it was always 4.7 stars. Like if there's a whole bunch of 5 stars and there's one guy with a 4.6, I'm not calling him.
Well, that's relative. I'm saying like what would give me pause if I said, hey, I have a company. I'm not going to tell you if they're a diamond dealer or they make sunglasses or they're an HVAC company or a dentist, and they've got less than 4 stars. I'd be like, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. But like if I'm looking at home service companies, I happen to know that if you have less than 4.7 on Google as a home service company, you probably aren't very good. I mean, that would be.
You're struggling. Yes, you've got some explaining to do, so to speak.
Yes. I would agree with that assessment. So if anyone's listening, you have less than 4.7 and you're in the home service business, you got to call your neighbors and your friends, ask them to leave you a Google review.
You got to pump that up a little bit. Yeah. Very good. I did have one more question, and I appreciate you and this has been kind of a little bit of coaching that I've been giving to clients, and I know that you guys have seen it before. Photos in reviews, especially on Google. Do you guys encourage that with your teams?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
How? Like I am. You. Everybody listening here is like, how do I get my customers to take photos and then post them in the review? Is there a special you guys are giving them? Is there anything that you're giving them or saying to them that a little nugget that you can hand off to that next person here that might be watching or listening at a future time? How do you get photos in your reviews?
I'm gonna see how Josh is going to say to that, because that's still a struggle. That's still a struggle for us.
So-
And I find it very interesting how people can write this review in very, detailed. But if you want to go that step, we've only had it done just, a few people have done that. But that is hard. And I don't know if that's like a privacy thing or I don't know.
100% a privacy thing. Also, just like an extra step.
Yep.
But we try paying people $25. That was pretty effective. Or just telling people, like, just tag, can you take a picture? Encouraging people that it looks beautiful. For whatever reason, and the pictures people take are so weird. So like car chargers and water heaters and foyer chandeliers. Like if you go through our Google review, pictures, that's what you see. We install like all sorts of awesome things all the time, but the only thing people want to take pictures of are water heaters, car chargers, and foyer chandeliers.
They're very photogenic at the end.
I guess, but people love pictures of water heaters. I don't know why.
I'll give you guys this just because it's something that I would be okay with at the time if it was asked of me. The technician coming over and asking me to take a picture of them with the water heater, with the car charger, with the air conditioning system, with underneath the house. If they come over and just ask me that, sans any conversation about a review or uploading it anywhere, anything. Hey, do you mind taking a picture of me doing this? Right? Most homeowners are going to be like, oh yeah, sure. Let me just take a picture of you using their own phone. Then at that moment in time, at the end, hey, I'm going to ask, survey my services. I'm going to, you remember that photo you took? Like that'd be awesome if you could upload it during the review process on Google. It really helps us out a lot. And it was really funny in the office. I appreciate it. Oh, yeah, because it's simple at that point in time to attach a photo that you just took. And but don't go into it going, hey, can you take a photo for a future review that you're going to leave for me? It's just have fun with it in the moment. Now, I realize not every technician is going to be able to take that and go, take that and run with it, because that's not their personality. But I think enough of them will that might make it easier for the people to leave a review. And Judy, you might have picked up on something in that, but I hope people here listening or what have you picked up on that. It's just part of the conversation that you're having with your client. Do you guys have anything you want to add to this?
And I think that like just hearing you say that, because of the things that they do say, like I said, the detail that they'll go into it, and still, I know Josh said like an extra step, but then you're kind of making it fun. It's still kind of, in the moment that it's happening, to do that. And I think I'll probably take that and challenge, our technicians, because I think that they could do that. It's not going to be everybody, but and I'll have to let them know that it will, because we do put in water heater. So if it's a water heater, like Josh said, or a Fourier light fixture, or, a unit, sure, we'll take a picture of it.
Get a picture of the guy hugging the thing.
Yeah, those kind of pictures with the technicians, I think, are really, really good. I think the customers might not feel like the technician is comfortable around that. So you almost need to communicate that. We need to little badges that we put on the technicians, say, I love having my picture taken and tagged on Facebook, something like that.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what kind of customer you're dealing with. Am I dealing with super savvy, like if you walked into my house right now and you were doing whatever, and you told my wife, hey, I'd love for you to tag me on Instagram. She would know exactly what that means. She would know exactly what you need, right? She would take the picture with you. She'd make sure that everyone could see the logo, everyone would understand, right? She would tag your company. She would tag her company, right? She would know exactly what to do. Other homeowners, you're like, hey, can you leave me a review? And they're like, I don't even know how to do that, right? So trying to find the customer that is interested in that and wants to do that. Because there's some people who are professional Googlers, and they get points for how many pictures they upload.
Yep.
And they want to be local guides, right? And so they're trying to upload more pictures. It's just a matter of finding that person.
It's 100%. And sometimes they just need a reminder that, hey, I'd like to get my photo taken. And I'm sure on each one of your teams, you got some characters.
Yeah.
I know that. Take advantage, hug the water heater, have them, point at their shoes while they're fun things that they could just ham it up. And that's honestly, Judy, one of the ways that you're going to do this. Just don't talk about reviews at that moment in time. It's just a fun thing that you're doing with the homeowner.
Well, and I think that disc profiling comes in on that, and our guys are trained in that. You have to know that personality. You
100%
to even go, yeah. But that's what I said. I am going to challenge our guys, because I think that many of them can do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate both of you so much for coming into the soapbox today. It has been an absolute pleasure. Judy's already given me an idea for another podcast, so that's awesome. I, again, appreciate you guys immensely. And I'm going to sign off for right now. But do you have any parting wisdom for anybody listening?
I would just, thank you so much, Mark, for inviting me. And it was so nice to meet Josh and learn from him too. It's really just reviews are much more important then I think that you have to use all of the review. You need to, don't just look at the volume, look at what people are saying and learn how to apply it.
100%. I that is something that I even forgot at some point, it's beyond the number. Josh?
Yeah, my only advice when it comes to reviews is to remember that these are permanent assets. So a lot of times we get frustrated, like it's too much work, it's too much effort to create a review. I have to have this conversation with the customer. Not every customer says yes, and I end up spending a lot of time creating the review. But the thing you got to remember is that this is a forever digital asset that can last for decades. We're still trading on reviews that somebody made about us like 20 years ago, right? And people are still reading that review. I mean, right now, like I can Google, best HVAC company in Atlanta, and some reviews on Reddit will come up from 7 years ago.
Yep.
And people are reading that, right? This is still relevant. And so there's a residual value to reviews that I think sometimes people take for granted. It's not just the review in the moment. You also get to enjoy that review once you acquire it for years and years to come. It's kind of cool. So that's the silver lining on a review, I guess.
I appreciate that very much. I'm going to bid you guys a fair and fond adieu. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to both of you, and Happy New Year if I don't talk to you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks,
thank
Mark.
you.
This is awesome.
Appreciate
Merry
you.
Christmas.
It's Mark Sherwin's Contractor Marketing Soapbox. Call Mark to learn more. 919-758-8420.